nowadays we're really lucky, but we're given so much information, everything from the stem length, the cut stage, how many, the NPU, so how many stems are packed into a bucket, and then who the grower is. So I suppose really the easiest one to describe this would be a rose. A rose is not a rose, we know that. But then you have a red Naomi, and they're not all created equal. So the question is, which grower should you choose? And really, everybody gets their own favorites. What I would say to you is trial out a few different growers and see which do you like. So I know in the morning when your order comes in and you're conditioning, you're kind of flying through it and you're not necessarily taking notice of who's who. But a really good idea is to start looking at the packaging. I certainly, when I have juniors starting in the shop, I would always, when they're conditioning, tell them to start look at the packaging, whose name is on it, do you see the difference? And there is a difference. So I mean, obviously red Naomi, you have to think Portanova. It would be one of the top red Naomi roses available on the market, and it is. But for me, I have to say I would be more of a drift Naomi. Drift would be my preference, but Portanova have better marketing, so this is part of it. But there's millions of growers, so Mario Land, you know, there's so many of them, but it really is just really about you finding which grower that you like. How do you get to find out the growers? Social media. The growers now are really beginning to understand that they had problems. So there was a lot of growers that for a long time we had to rely on the suppliers to decide what we were buying, because we could only buy what they bought. So for example, Gloriosa. I remember meeting the Gloriosa grower and him telling us florists don't like Gloriosa. I love Gloriosa. Can I get it? Not all the time. Is it expensive? Yes. It's a specialist flower, but the suppliers didn't necessarily have it in stock because it wasn't a bog standard flower. It wasn't something that we would always have. And really the growers found that they needed to speak directly to the florist. So a lot of it, if you look at floral fundamentals, that's a really good start. It'll introduce you to growers that you may never have heard of before. But once you get to see what they have, you then start to order by grower. If you're somebody that when you're ordering online, you're finding that you're having issues, maybe the product isn't as hardy, the stem isn't as tough, the quality isn't as good. It's not always the product's fault. Sometimes it's what you've purchased. So are you buying grade A1? Are you buying B1? There's a massive difference. I mean, personally, I would only ever buy A1 in the shop. We need to stand out from our competitors, and by doing that, for me, the first choice is always buying the best quality that you can. So there's a load of growers that I would recommend. So orchids, if you're buying Vandas, Ansu. If you're buying Cymbidiums, CY Moore, fabulous. Lilies, actually lilies we're lucky because a lot of them have kind of come together. So the Dutch lily is a fabulous oriental lily. Lysianthus, Durlug Lysianthus is the biggest grower in Holland. Definitely worth a look. And everything they do is like they concentrate on sustainability. So they have all the LED lights. They harvest the rainwater. They reuse it. They filter it. Like everything that the Dutch can do to make the growing process more sustainable, no pesticides, all of that kind of stuff. They do it. If you're looking for air plants, Corsa plants do a fabulous range of air plants and succulents. For me, they're the best. Agapanth, asparagus fern, Mulder, Nerines, Derwit, hyacinths, Derwit. Who else have we got? Like there's millions. There's Marginpar are the biggest distributors of everything grown in Africa. So Thistle, Solidago, Astilbe, Astrantia, they actually do Gloriosa, where they come packed individually to keep them safe, and you get 5 different colours within the one sleeve. So it's a great opportunity to try and use maybe a little bit an elite flower that not always, you don't have to buy big numbers of it. So it's nice to be able to, if you have a special customer that wants something a little bit different. It's definitely worth looking into. Gerbers, Holstein, Summit, Gerber United. Like, there's loads of different growers. So really what you need to see is which growers do you like. So you need to start paying attention that when you're ordering and when the flowers are coming in, make a little note of, I really like that. That was really sturdy. And especially at it coming up to a peak period now, you need to learn who's especially now the supplier. A lot of the suppliers will put up prices and you're like, it's a Gerber, it's a Rose, it's an Amaryllis. Who's the grower? Because really that'll make a massive difference. They're not all created equal, and if one person's offering you a price point of A and the other one is B, which grower are you getting though? Because for certain like for example Red Naomi, if you're buying Porto Nova, you're paying for Porto Nova, and it's up to you whether you choose to spend the extra money on it. Your customers will thank you for it. I do think it's definitely worth looking into who's who, and social media is a great tool for that. We will be doing a little bit here on the IOF, on the members page, kind of highlighting the different members, the different growers and what products they offer, and maybe you can let us know which grower do you find particularly good, or is there a particular grower that you kind of don't like and wouldn't recommend to others to use.